want to go to the garden? Good boy. Good boy. And you? Alright, let's go. How are you doing? In case you're new here, I'm Martin from Gardens for Life. I wanted to wish you a happy new year and an abundant new growing season. This is the first video of the year now. I'll tell you a little bit more about that next week in my big announcement. And I'm going to be talking all about how I got here to this point. And I've been struggling quite a bit over the last weeks and months in my transition and letting go of one part of my life and starting another, or actually going full-time on another. And I will tell you all about that next week, so stay tuned. Oh, what do you think? What do you think? Those are good dogs. Good dogs, aren't you? That was a good boy. So next week I'm going to be revealing some of our plans for 2024, and there's a lot of them. We're going to make a separate video as well of what kind of plants we're going to be growing in the next year, in the next growing season. This is more of a bit of a casual video now, so I'm going to just be kind of showing you around. We're actually just out of the cold spell. We had our second cold spell here in the Midlands of Ireland now, and it was -3 or 4 this time around for a few days. And it's still a little bit cold, but it warmed up a lot. Today it's like 10 degrees plus, which is a blessing in itself. But unfortunately, with that Atlantic air, we always get a bit of rain, or a lot of rain as well. It's going to start raining in a few hours now, and it's going to rain for about 24 hours straight. So we're going to be making this video real quick while we can. I'm in the greenhouse here because I'm not using the proper microphone yet for this camera, so I don't end up with any wind noise. I'm sure none of you would appreciate wind noise, and you would rather not have to listen to it. We're going to be harvesting some Ocas and some Willows in this video. In case you're wondering what's behind me, that is a salt bush, which is a lovely edible plant, and it can be grown from cuttings or from seed. And on the other side is a goji berry tree or bush. You can see it's still flowering this time of year. It's actually evergreen. It never actually fruited, and it has some whiff coming off it sometimes, so I don't think I'm going to keep it here. Although it is nice to look at, but it takes up so much space in the greenhouse. It is unbelievable. I could be growing more figs instead. Look at all the fig trees here. Got some figs here, and lots of figs on that side, and on this side I'm going to trim all that back. Don't forget, we've got cuttings, plants, tubers, perennial vegetables available on our website. So please take a look and get them now, because a lot of them have sold out already. We highly appreciate your support, as always. I'm going to be making separate videos about the willows and how to manage them again. We do have a video about shelter belt management already, but we're going to be making a whole new video just about that. And look at this, how much wood you get out of one tree in 1 year. We cut those back all the way down to hip height, and take a look at that. And some of them are quite substantial. Now, a lot of them will be used for cuttings. We could use some of them for firewood as well. Like even stick wood is nice to start the fire with. And if you have a high performance wood stove or a rocket mass heater, you can use stick wood and get all of the energy out of it by burning the wood gases as well. And with that, you don't really need logs or even turf or coal or anything like that. So I think that's the future. This is the future right here in terms of heating. And we're going to be showing you the process. So I'm going to be cutting back some of these now, and let's see what we can do. Let's give you an example here. So usually we use any kind of cuttings like this, or stems like this. We're going to cut them into 1 foot pieces, and we use them as cuttings. And any of the ones that are very, very thick, like these ones here for example, we might use those for firewood, or we might actually use them to just replant as well. These trees are only about 3 years old now, and further down the line are some older ones as well. You can see here I've already been cutting away at these. I usually cut them off at an angle, but you don't have to. We'll get into details as we make a full video on this. Hopefully the wind noise is not so bad. I'm gonna cut some of these now and show you. I mean, you can tell I've been tinning them out on this side. Let me go to the other side here. Let me see, I'm gonna find a way through here. It's usually a little bit of a struggle, especially when you have the tripod out. Alright. Oh, you can see it better here now. It's a wall of wood. Now, any place where I've already tinned it out, you can tell. But let me just show you here. Here you can see I haven't done any cutting yet. And it still blocks a lot of the wind as well. But in the summertime, of course, especially late summer, is when you want to block the wind, when all of your tender annuals have large leaves especially, and you want to block the wind just to stop the wind from damaging them, but also for the plants to grow properly. Toby Hemingway once said that fruit trees grow twice as fast if you can block the wind. And that's what we try to do here. That's one of many principles that we took from him. We've also been doing a little bit of maintenance here, harvesting some raspberries off the ground, but more on that later. I just want to show you how I sharpen my secateurs, because it's gone a little blunt now. On my keyring I've got a little diamond sharpening stone like this. They're not expensive, they're about €6 or so, €6-7. And all you have to do is rub it across the blade. Now I'm going to be struggling a little bit to try and do this with one hand, but you get the idea anyway. You can kind of just circle over it like this, and just that is enough to sharpen it while you're out in the field. Let's try it. Which one am I cutting? Let's just try this one and see. Yep, pretty good. That works. So now I've got all these willows cut here, and I'm going to bring those home now. And then in the comfort of our shed, out of the rain, we're going to be cutting those into 1-foot-long pieces. And we always cut the bottom at an angle, like so, and the top straight. So here's an example of a willow cutting. About 1 foot long. The top is always going to be like this, and the bottom is always going to be like this, so you can poke it into the ground easier, and you plant them. What do you want? Do you want me to show you how to plant one? All you do is this: you push it into the ground about halfway or 3/4 of the way, and that's all there is to it. Of course, if you straighten it up, that will help it. And that's all there is to it. That'll grow into a new tree, would you believe it or not? And of course, that's our pat. It'll grow into a tree like these. And if you keep cutting them back, they bush out. Let's move on to Ocas now. Take a look at how many tubers there's here. Look at this. As you dig down, you'll find more. Now this is near the edge of the garden bed, so there is quite a few more than you'd expect. But still, that's a lot of Ocas, and quite big ones too. A lot of them are small as well, like somewhere around that size. But that's okay, they'll grow into a full-size plant next season. Even the tiny bitty ones, they'll grow into a full-size plant too. Well, who knows what that's going to turn into? Well, we're about to find out. Alright, I'm going to keep collecting ocas here now before the rodents do. So ocas actually grow really well in wood chips as well. You can see here, this is at the edge of a no-dig garden with lasagna on top. So that's lasagna style no-dig garden beds, I suppose. That's a good way to describe it. Simply a layer of wood chips on top of the compost layer. And ocas actually grow surprisingly well in wood chips, or topped off with wood chips. But I found that when it's well drained, because they're well drained, you get really good quality tubers. But if you harvest them late in the year, you get these black spots, and you can get lots of insects eating them. Well, you can't blame them, but you definitely got to collect them early on in the off season, as in early winter. Don't leave them there until spring, because the soil life will wake up and become more active and actually eat your tubers. Ask me how I know. So tonight it's to be -4 degrees Celsius now, and everything is already frozen. Ground is fairly frozen solid, at least the top couple of centimeters. And I'm thinking I might just harvest some of these ocas in case they get frozen. Normally they'd be fine at this type of temperature, but I don't want to chance it. So I'm going to try and see if I can harvest some of them, and I want to bring you along with me. Ideally you want to harvest these before the frost, but you know, they're not frozen under the ground yet. But tonight I'm afraid we might get the kind of temperatures that will end up losing some of those. And we've collected all the yacons earlier, and there's just a few more left here. I might just pull those up too. Let's see, these ones were planted relatively late in the season. They're only small. Still worth harvesting though. No need to take a chance on the old frost on those. No, not so bad. Mainly I just planted them here because I had the plants left over, but also because I had a bit of room left around about midsummer. I'll just cut off all the stalks. And that's it. And we can put them in storage like that. Just need to brush off some of that soil. You can see how the leaves have already gotten frost damaged, and all these stalks as well from last night's frost. So, but the tubers are fine, and everything underground is also fine as well. Everything is frozen now. Take a look at that, the Portuguese kale. It'll be okay though. It's mainly the frost tender tuberous crops that we're worried about at the moment. The ground is completely frozen solid now. Now I've got my trusty neoprene wellies. They're definitely keeping my feet warm. And you can see here I've harvested all those yacons now. Got that done during the day before the frost came back. I'm going to take some of these ocas now. Let's take a look and see what we can find. Let me put you over here. Ocas are kind of a tuberous oxalis, so it's related to the wood sorrel, and it comes from the Andes. It's another one of those vegetables that the ancient ancient indigenous cultures actually developed, and we'd like to say thank you to them for that, because those kind of plants are going to save a lot of people's lives in the near future, I'd say. Let's take a look at this one here. It's a lot better. Okay. A little bit too late to be harvesting oca now, just before a fairly hard frost. Of course, I could have done it a bit sooner. I just didn't get around to it, to be honest. It's been a very hectic few months now. A lot of pressure at my job, and also ready to go full time on the garden fairly soon. All, of course, I wouldn't be able to do without your support. I'd like to thank you for all of the things that you've done for me over the years, like ordering plants and becoming members and things like that. Really appreciate that. And once I go full time, I'll be able to do a lot more. Yeah, some of the ocas don't do too well. I had some other plants though on the other side that did really, really well. Maybe we should go over there and see if we can find some more. This is a big one. It's actually on the south side of the bed, so hopefully you get a good harvest from it. Lose them into the hole. As soon as you pull up a plant, you end up losing all the tubers into the hole. There you go, not so bad. That's a reasonably good harvest. Once you keep moving out here, it's not too bad. It's not that cold. It's definitely going to get a lot colder in a few hours though. And I'd say everything is going to freeze down to maybe 3 inches below the ground. There you go. Yes, that's that. Not a bad old harvest. That's what I got so far in about 10 minutes. Again, these have been planted very late. Let's go over here and take a look at a different plant, or different ocas that were planted a bit earlier in the season. Well, how are you doing? What are you doing here? Are you alright? You alright? You're not cold out here? Always messing, aren't I? Let's see now. We'll go over here, see if we can find some. All the wood chips are frozen. Completely frozen up. Oh. No, I have just lost my tripod, my little mono tripod, selfie thingy, and that means I'll be digging up tubers now with one hand, at least while you're watching. We'll give it a try, see what we can do. Of course, I could just dump wood chips on top of these, and it'll probably keep them safe, but at -4 degrees Celsius, I'm not too sure about that. I think that's a plant I actually dug up the other day. That's true. Let me see if I can find another here. Here's another one. The reason why you can see a shadow is because I've got a headlight and a light on top of the camera as well. Look. Yeah. They're nearly the size of spuds. Look at these. Not bad. And there's lots of them. They don't grow very deep into the ground. They have Ocas often grow very shallow, mainly probably because there's only a compost layer about maybe 6 inches deep here, and they probably don't need to grow deeper than that to reach whatever nutrients they need. Well, you get some smaller ones too. There's a good few of them here. It's just a matter of finding them before the frost does. Okay, I think that'll do for the moment. We'll keep digging here for the time being and see if I can cover up a few of these plants with some wood chips just to save them until tomorrow or the next day. So I was just digging up this spot here. There was 2 big plants that actually volunteered from last year, and look what I got. I think it's about half that tray worth of Ocas. That was just from this spot. Maybe like a kilo or 2 from here. Really happy with that. Gonna need a bigger tray. The dogs love digging too. Levi, come. How are we doing? How are we doing? So I'm just doing the delivery here for a client and some friends. So I'm going to bring the wellies because I'm going to pick up a few trees, and I'm going to deliver all these goodies. We have gooseberries and hybrid poplar, Taunton Dean kale, this is horseradish, free goodie, and jostaberry, some elderberry cuttings, and 5 varieties of Jerusalem artichokes. Here we have some mashuas, Ocas. Oh, the colours on those. All these wonderful Andean vegetables. We have Madeira vine, marshmallow, Chinese artichokes, a few freebies, seed packets. We always give some free seeds with our stuff. And some willow cuttings. This is the hybrid willow. Some comfrey, a full comfrey crown. And some more bits and pieces here. So marshmallow and yacon, pineapple sage, yeah, some golden raspberries, some flamin' willow, and more berries, black currants, white currants, red currants, all the rest. Hopefully we'll be able to make some videos about their place in the near future. It'll be an amazing place. It's a farm, so we'll keep you posted. If you're still watching now, thank you so much, and stay tuned for our big announcement next week. And if you'd like to hear more from us, and if you want to stay in touch, join our mailing list or take a look at our online shop. Thank you very much. Any support is highly appreciated. See you later. Bye bye. What do you think, Nina? Always licking the camera, aren't you? The lens always needs an owl watching.